Yes, hello guys. Uh, Today we're going to proceed with the more basics, uh, modeling basics. And now I want us to model this house. Okay, so there's some things that you're gonna learn in just modeling this simple house. So as usual, this is our Blender interface, and I'm sure by now you know how to import reference images into your Blender file. So the first thing, since this is a new file, I'm gonna have to save it. So I'll go to File, then save my project, save as, then I'll locate um, where I'm gonna save it. So I'll save it under Projects, then call it House. Okay, then save it. Now we have our project saved. So it's usually very important to make sure that your project is saved. Then I'm going to upload the reference image into my Blender file. So first I'm going to subdivide my properties editor so that this top one becomes my image um, editor. Okay, so I'm going to locate where my image is, then I'll just drag and drop it. Okay, so all I need is to drag and drop it. Okay, now before you model anything, make sure you can predict, or you'll be careful with the general shape of the house. For instance, we can't build this house with a cylinder, okay, because of the cylinder shape. But having a cube in our scene will make it easy to create this house. So what I'm going to do, I'll delete both the camera and the lights, so I don't need them. So I'll have them deleted. Then head into front view. Front view. Why? So you can either use the number pad on your keyboard, or you can use this circle, this one. So when I click on Z, that is top view. When I click on Z again, that is bottom view. When I click on X, that is right view. When I click on X again, left view. But okay, we're gonna focus on front view. Okay, so that we should know what side of our mesh we are working with. Okay, so first um, I'm gonna pull my cube so that it's not below the surface. Okay, so somewhere here, so that it's not below the grid. Okay, then I'm gonna enter edit mode. So you can either use tab on your keyboard or switch from here. So tab is the shortcut for getting into edit mode. Okay, so once I'm in edit mode, um, this object, this house, let's ignore this top part. So it's a symmetrical object. Okay, let's assume that this side is the same as this other side. Okay, so this means we will use mirror modifier so that we'll just focus on building one side, then the other side will automatically um, be mirrored. Okay, so first, since you're going to use mirror modifier, that means that we'll have to delete one side of our cube. Okay, but before that I have to subdivide it. Okay, so I hit Control R, then now when I hit Control R, you'll notice that there's a yellow line that passes around our mesh. So this line um, is communicating to us that okay, this is where you want to create a loop. Okay, so all you need is to click. Okay, now once you click, you will notice that the line is attached to your mouse cursor. Okay, so so that you don't mess, or you don't um, so that you maintain um, a precision, all you need to do is right click, so that now the line sticks at the center. Okay, then I'm going to select one side, which is my left side, left hand side. So I'm going to delete. So to delete, hit X, then I'll delete the vertices. So I'm in vertex mode, and make sure that the vertices that you've selected are the ones on the left side. So then I'll add modifier, then generate, then I'll use mirror modifier. So once this modifier is we uh, put this modifier, so if I select this vertex and move, whatever I do on my right hand side will happen on the left hand side because of the mirror modifier. So that now we don't have to model it from we don't have to model one side and come and model again on this other side. That will be too tedious. Okay. Okay. Now let's switch to face mode, so that now we can select our faces and uh, transform. Now push it out just a bit. Okay, let's say somewhere here. Then we're gonna hold this part, and remember to use the axis. Okay, so I like moving my mesh using the axis. I don't like just moving it. uh, okay, you can move it with G, but now for accuracy just use the axis. So something like that. Okay, now I'll hold this top part. Let's move it just a bit there. Then let's say we've created this bottom part of the wall. Now we want this top part. All you need to do is to extrude. Okay, so I'll hit E, then so E for extrude. If I right click, it will this face will stick back to its initial position till I use the axis to move. Okay, so I'll raise it up just a bit, then scale it along Y axis. Okay, now to scale, we'll have to use this uh, this green box here. So this is responsible for scaling. If I use the circles are responsible for rotation. If I use the arrows are responsible for uh, movement. Now I'll scale it down. Okay, not too much. Just scale it like that till it's somewhere close to the middle. Then if I want to raise it up even more, I can do it just like that. And now we have this top part. I can scale it even more, just a bit. Now I have at least somewhere to begin from for our roof. So all I'm going to do is to select the the rest of the faces. Then I'm going to separate. Okay, because the reason for separating is because this roof is not part of the wall. Okay, and to separate, I have to hit P. Okay, so if I hit P on my keyboard, P for polio. Okay, so I'll separate selection. Okay, now select selection. Now after separating, now we have the wall on its own. Okay, we have the roof. Now this is the roof. And now there's something that I've noticed. Let me hide the roof. So if I hit H, I'll be able to hide the roof. Now you'll notice that there's this part that created itself while when we extruded our the area to create our roof. So what I'm going to do, I'll enter edit mode. Since we don't need it, I'll select this face, then delete the face. Okay, with X. After deleting it, I'll also select this bottom part. So I don't want it to have a flow yet. Okay, so delete this part. Okay, now delete faces. Okay, If you delete vertices, it will delete all the vertices at the bottom. Okay, now if I want to reveal back my roof, I'll hit Alt H and my roof will reappear. Okay, now notice that there's some my roof, mine is so close to the wall, but our reference is out of the walls just a bit. So I'll enter edit mode again, then I'll select all these edges. So to select this entire loop, I'll press Alt. So press Alt down, then click on one of those loops. I know we've done that while modeling the cup. Now I'm going to pull it out like that, and now at least our roof has extruded outwards. Yeah. Now there's this part also. All I have to do is to select it. So select these parts. I can either select one of it. Let's try and switch orientation and see. Okay. Now if I switch orientation from global to normal orientation, you'll notice that now I have an x-axis that points towards the direction of how my roof flows. Okay. Now all I need to do is to use this x-axis and push my roof downwards just a bit. Then I select this one too and do the same. Let's see, something like that. Okay. Now we have that kind of roof. Okay. Now remember to always save your project. Let's come to front view, and now we need to create um, space for our both doors and windows. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do, we get into edit mode, then create a loop cut around the top part of this wall here. Okay, now we want the peak, the top part of the both the doors and the windows. So I'll hit Control R, then have a loop, then I slide it. I want the topmost part to be somewhere here. So I'll just click there, and now we have the top part. Okay, if that's not if that is too high, you can always reposition your loop. Okay, then okay, let me enable markup so that it can be a lot more visible than cavity. Okay, now we're going to create another loop. So this loop represents this side. Okay, so I'm going to hit Control R, then reposition it. Okay, something like that. Then we're going to create another loop here that is responsible for this side of this wall. So Control R again, and now I have this loop. I can slide it to wherever I want, something like that. Then create another loop for this other side. So Control R, and now we have this side. Then we'll create another loop cut for the bottom part of the window. So I'll hit Control R, and now we have this loop that represents the bottom part of the window. Now all I need to do is to select the faces that I want to delete. So I select this one, hit on Control, okay, hit Shift, then select these two faces. So this represents the door, this represents the window. So all I need to do is to hit X, then delete faces. And now we have space for our house. Okay, now this is not enough. We still need these ones. So what we are going to do is to head into edit mode again, create these loops. So just that one, then slide it. So we are sliding it. So this is this part, then create another one, slide it more. So this is for this part, then create another one for the beginning of this frame, then another one then slide it. Okay, we'll ensure that they are approximately the same size. Okay, if somehow they're not of the same size, all you need to do is to slide your edges. Now just hit GG and you can slide it like that. Select, okay, to select the whole loop, press Alt, then click on the loop and the whole loop will be selected. Then hit GG, something like that. And now we can delete this face and this face. So hit X, delete the face like that. Okay. Now we have this other face, other window at the top. Okay. So what we need to do is to create another loop cut at the top. So this represents the top part of the window. Then we will create another one. This one. So this represents the lowest part of this window. Then now we have these ones. Okay. Now these edges are not straight. Okay. And now to make them straight, we need to straighten those edges. And to straighten them, because they are bending along y axis. Okay, they are bending along y axis. So this is the axis. So all you need to do is to scale down y axis 0. Okay, so you just type s y 0, so that now the scale along y axis is 0. So if the scale along y axis is 0, this means that that edge is not rotated along y axis. Okay, now I'll do the same thing with this other side because the scaling is happening along y axis. So I'll hit s y 0, then enter. And now I have perfect, is it a rectangle or a square? Have a perfect square, I'm not sure. So let's select the face again as usual, then hit X, then delete faces, and that's it. Now we have the general look for our house, but obviously we need some details, we need more details. Okay, now what you're going to do, we're going to add depth to our mesh. Okay, the wall, because now this is paper size. Okay, now what we need to do is to add another modifier. So the modifier that we're going to add is the solidify modifier. So just hit add modifier, then generate, then solidify. And now we have some depth. Okay, but now the depth is not enough. So what you're going to do is to increase the thickness. So you can obviously add the thickness to whichever size you want. Okay, so I don't want it to be too big. Let's say this is enough for me for this project. Okay, but I think it's extruding up outwards too. Okay, let's see. Okay, we'll solve that, no problem. So all you need to do, I've added the solidify modifier and increased the thickness. Okay, now for this extrusion, all you need to do is to raise up our roof just a bit. Okay, just a bit like that. Now we have, at least we have some flesh on our mesh, we have some kind of depth. Okay, now how do we create? Okay, I think our house is too wide, right? I think it's too wide. So to solve that, I select both the wall and the roof, get into edit mode, get to front view. So front view, then I'll enable X-ray so that I can select both the front vertices and the back ones. Then I can resize my house so that it's not too wide. Okay, I don't want it to be too wide. Okay, I'll go back to front view, select, increase my selection to this part. Then if yours is not too wide, you don't need to do this process. Now you can have something like that. Okay, now get into edit mode, and that's it. It looks better. Okay, now uh, we've already created thickness for this house and we don't need this specific modifier. So what we're going to do is to apply the solidify modifier. So to apply a modifier, come to this drop down, then hit apply. Okay, now we've applied that modifier. So now what we need to do, get into edit mode. We want to create these frames, okay, the window frames. Now I'll switch to face mode because now I want to select the frames, okay, these faces. Now to select these faces, you can either select one by one. You can just hold down shift and select one by one like this, okay, or select it at once, okay. Just press down alt and click between the two faces, so this face and this one. So if I click here, I can select the entire loop once, okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'll duplicate it, so shift D to duplicate it, because now the frame is wooden, it needs to be a separate object, okay. So I'll extrude, then I'll scale it along, first along x-axis like that, then along z-axis like that, okay. Then I'll select these faces, so that I select these faces, so that now I can pull it outwards like that, okay. And now I have the window frame, okay. Now I'll we need uh, these frames too. So what I'm going to do, I'll select this face, duplicate it. So to duplicate in Blender, you can hit Shift D. Now I'll duplicate it and reposition it, then scale it along y-axis like that, something like that. Scale it upwards, then extrude like so. Now I have one frame. Okay, to select the whole of it, when I hover my mouse around any part of uh, this frame, when I hit L, I can select the entire object. Okay, when I hit L here, I'll select this frame. When I hit L on the house, I'll select the whole wall in edit mode. Okay, now this is what we need. So the reason we are selecting it is because we want to rescale it so that it's not too big, something like this. Then also we're going to have to duplicate it so that we can have this one. So I'll shift D to duplicate, then rotate along y-axis. Okay, now once I've rotated it, for me to be sure that my rotation is perfect, there's a box that always appears in case of any transformation that you make. Okay, so I'll expand this box and make sure that the angle of rotation is 90 degrees. Okay, so that it's precise. Then I'll scale it along x-axis like so. Then I can even scale it down along y-axis, something like that. And now we have both um, left side and right side created. Okay, and then we can either repeat the same process with this one, with these two. Okay, I think that's what we are going to do. So what we'll do, we'll select these loops like that. We can even do with this third one. But now, for example, when I scale it down, Blender calculates the number of vertices selected and tries to predict the center point. Okay, but since I don't want to switch the positions of the wall, I'm going to switch my median point. Okay, so this is where to switch your pivot point. Okay, so I'll click here, then switch to individual origins. Okay, so if I switch to individual origins, this will mean that Blender interprets this as an individual selection. Okay, so when I scale it down, they'll all scale towards their individual positions. Okay, now I'll duplicate them with Shift D because they're going to be separate objects. Okay, to duplicate them, then I'll extrude. Okay, then I'll scale along y-axis like so, then scale along z-axis just like we did on the front windows. Okay, after that is done, I'll select all these faces, the front parts of the window, then I'll push them outwards like so. And now we have frames. Okay, now we again need these parts here. So what you're going to do, we'll select this guy, select this guy too, duplicate them, then reposition them like that, then scale along x-axis. Let me scale them up just a bit, then hit extrude to extrude. They shouldn't be too big. Then I can select the entire of them, then duplicate, then rotate. Make sure your rotation is 90 degrees, then scale it along y-axis like so. I can even scale along y-axis, and now we have the window frames. Okay, now what about this top part? If I don't want to repeat this entire process, all I can do is select with L. I can select these parts like that, then I can duplicate with Shift D. So Shift D, reposition like that, then scale down. Okay, now I can select this part so that it doesn't appear from the top, something like that. Now let's see what's happening here. Okay, now I don't want this protrusion, so I'll select it, then scale it along y-axis, something like that. Perfect. Now I have my windows, my window frames, but we obviously will need glasses. Okay. Now to create the glasses, it's easy. We'll select these edges. So I have switched to edge mode, then select that edge, then duplicate it with Shift D, then reposition. So you have to duplicate it so that they are a separate mesh. Okay, then reposition it, then hit F. So F is for filling. Okay, with those edges selected, I've hit F to fill. Now about this part, I'll select all these edges, then duplicate them, Shift D, then reposition them, then hit F to fill. Okay, since that can only happen when your pivot point is at individual origins. Okay, now let's create our do. Simple as usual. So all you need to do is to, we already have mirror, we don't need to struggle. Okay, so I'll select this face, Shift D to duplicate it, then I'll push it outwards just a bit, then I'll extrude like so, then I'll select this bottom part, then I'll reposition it, then I'll create, because now we need this top part. Okay, so I'll create Control R, create a loop cut, push it upwards, select this face, then extrude inwards. Okay, but then when I move this part, you'll notice that this face, even though it belongs on the right side, it can reach here. okay, but this is not what I want. Okay, so I want all parts of the left side or the right side to only belong on the right side. So what I'm going to do, I'll expand my mirror modifier, then enable clipping. Okay, now when I move it past past the middle point, when I move it past the middle point, it won't cross to this other side. Okay, it will only remain at the center. Okay, and now we have this part. Okay, now we want to create the door. Okay, the door should be easy. So what we're going to do, we'll even, let's just create another plane, then reposition it, rotate it 90 degrees, reposition it, bring it outwards, scale it down. So to scale, we said S is for scaling, then reposition it like that, scale it something like that, scale it up just a bit, and then let's bring it out. Okay, now we will have to give it some kind of depth. So I'll enter edit mode, then extrude it outwards, okay, so that it has some kind of depth. Then I'll enter edit mode to create these holes. So to create them, I have to Control R, create this loop cut, then I'll bevel it, okay, so that now we can have two parts at the center. So Control B to bevel it just once like that, then Control R again at the center, Control B to bevel that part, then I'll create these loops, okay, on the side. So Control R, push it here, Control R, push it there, Control R, push it, Control R, there. And now all we need is to extrude these holes inwards. So I'll switch to face mode, select these very holes, then hit E to extrude inwards. Okay, just a bit, then scale them. Can even scale them if we want. And now we have our door. Okay, now let's create this knob, this holder. Okay, now what we're going to do, since it looks circular, uh, we'll add, okay, let's just use circle, okay, and this seems to be at this position. So first we are going to make use of our 3D cursor. Okay, you see the position where the cursor is. So for example, if I add anything on the scene, for example a cube, it will appear where the cursor position is at. Okay, when I position my cursor here, so to position your cursor you can click on it here, then wherever you click, that will be the new position of your cursor. So whatever you add, for example a sphere, will appear at the position of the sphere. Now I want my cursor to be here. Okay, Shift S, cursor to say okay, cursor to selected. So I want to bring my cursor here. So all I need to do is to select the face, then hit Shift plus S, and then select cursor to selected. And now the cursor will appear at this position. Now with the cursor in this position, I'm going to add a circle, okay, because this part looks circular. Then I'll scale it down, scale the circle down, then I rotate it, make sure your rotation is 90 degrees, like that. Then I'll scale it down a bit, then I'll get into edit mode, switch to vertex mode, scale it down, that, okay. Then I'll extrude it outwards, okay. To extrude, we said hit E to extrude, Okay, then right click so that the the extruded vertices should remain at the initial position. Then I'll using the arrow, I'll push them outwards like that. Hit E again to extrude, then hit S to scale it down. So I'll hit S to scale it down like this. Then I hit E again, extrude it outwards. Then I hit E again, then scale it up, up. Extrude again, scale it up. Okay, not too much. Then extrude, scale it, extrude, scale it, then pull it outwards just a bit, extrude, scale it like so. Then lastly, extrude, then I'll merge it. I'll merge the vertices at the center. So I'll hit M on my keyboard, then I can merge it at the center like that. Okay, now if I want to make this part smoother, I'll Control R, create a loop, then scale it outwards like so. Okay, I can select this part, scale it down, reposition. Okay, now we have our door knob. Okay, now let's make it a bit smooth. Okay, so just right click, then shade smooth. Okay, but then I don't know. Let's add some kind of details. Okay, so that it looks solid. Now I'll enter edit mode, add more loop cuts. So these loop cuts that I'm adding are called supporting edge loops. Supporting edge loops. Now it looks more solid. Here too, I'll add, even though we won't see this part, let's just add the supporting edge loops like so. Now we have that knob. Okay. Now I'll get the cursor back to the world origin. So to do that, I'll hit Shift S, cursor to world origin, so that the cursor always sticks at the center of the world. Now, the one part remaining is this stairs. So Shift A, add cube. So this cube, okay, let's say we need a floor for our house. So I'll scale it along Z axis like that. Then I'll scale it along X axis. Okay. Uh, then I can reposition it like so, then scale it outwards so that now this acts as our house floor. Okay, so this one is our floor, something like this. Okay, you can even push it outwards more. Okay, now let's create these floors. Okay, so to do that, I'll enter edit mode, then I'll add. Okay, I don't need to. Okay, yes, okay. Let's just create a loop cut here, create another loop cut here with Control R, then select this face, then extrude it outwards with E to extrude, then add create another loop cut at the center, then select this face here, then extrude it outwards. Okay, now we now have our complete house, but now we don't have this ground. So to include the ground, we're gonna add mesh plane and now scale it outwards like this. This will act as our ground. Then I just need to reposition it, and now we have our complete house. Okay, now in the next chapter we are going to create materials for our objects. Okay, see you next recording.